All my foodie friends have a special recipe for meatballs. These are my sausage and fennel meatballs. And they're amazing with my quick and simple tomato sauce. If I had £1 for every meatball recipe I've been given, I'd have quite a lot of cash in the bank. This recipe today is using an ingredient I haven't had a lot of experience with. It's a simple meatball recipe, but I'm adding some fennel. And according to the Italians, fennel is a brilliant ingredient to mix with pork. There they are, fennel seeds. We're going to roast them in the pan and then we're going to grind them. So we're going to need some fabulous ground or minced beef and some good quality sausage meat, apart from an egg and some garlic, onions, some fresh parsley. The other huge ingredients in every brilliant Italian meatball recipe you come across is some simple white breadcrumbs soaked in milk. They make everything tender and soft. And apart from that, that's it. We're going to make a really simple tomato sauce using canned tomatoes and tomato puree, some garlic, some onion and a few herbs, a bit of olive oil. And that's it. So let's start roasting our fennel, shall we? Dry frying pan, in with the fennel seeds. Don't forget all the quantities and ingredients are in the description below. On a medium heat, I want you to just stir the fennel seeds around. And you'll notice they're going to slowly turn brown. The key is to constantly move them around. If you don't move them around, there's a danger they're going to get too dark and then they'll turn bitter. That's pretty much the shade of brown you want. You can see they've turned colour. And like I say, it's essential to keep your heat on a medium one. Once they turn brown, let's get the pestle and mortar out. And let's just coarsely grind them down. We don't want them too powdery. There we are, perfect texture. And let's set that aside. And now in our frying pan, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, some onion, some garlic, and a generous quantity of fresh flat leaf parsley that we've chopped up fine. We're going to cook this for about 8 minutes till it's completely cooked through or translucent. We don't want to brown it, we just want it to be nice and soft and we want to extract all those flavours. Set that to one side once it's cooked. Let's get our breadcrumbs in our milk and just give that a mix. If it's not wet enough, we want it quite wet, add an extra splash of milk. Set that to one side. In a bowl, let's throw in our ground or our minced beef and our sausage meat. Let's put in our onion mixture as well. And once that's in, we can add a tablespoon of rice flour. Rice flour is going to give us some extra sturdiness when the meatballs are in the pan. Let's throw in our fennel. The smell's fantastic. And now we're going to throw in the Parmesan, which you didn't see in the ingredient picture earlier. Don't forget all the ingredients will be in the description below. After the Parmesan, let's throw in the white bread pulp mixed with the milk, the egg yolk, and then we need to put in some salt. I'm using a Himalayan pink salt and some black pepper, just some cracked black pepper. You can use white pepper if you prefer. And now we're going to get our hands in, get all squelchy, and give that a good mix. I spent a good couple of minutes mixing it in because there's so many ingredients in this dish. We want them all to be evenly blended. And once we've got that, I've used my 1/4 cup measure to make my meatball. And you can make any shape you want. I got 16 out of this batch. There they are, all ready for my frying pan. Another tablespoon or two of good olive oil, get it warm and throw in, well, place in, I don't know why I said throw in, do you? Place in the meatballs. And over a medium heat, we're going to cook the meatballs for about 7 or 8 minutes, but we're going to be flipping them. And I guess it's 4 turns. And the great thing with this recipe, because we've added a little bit of rice flour, our meatballs aren't going to break up as we flip them. And you can see they're staying Together, everything is sturdy, thanks to that 1 tablespoon of rice flour. Once you've turned them over, just got to give them about 2 to 3 minutes each side. And like I said, keep the flame on medium. We don't want them to burn. And then I'm just going to try and cook the sides a little bit as well. I know a lot of people say, well, that's not necessary, but I just want them cooked all round on the outside. I want the flavour to be perfect. And if we can get that meat as caramelised as much as possible, the flavour is going to be better. Once you've flipped them over and you've got them evenly browned on all sides, we're then going to cook them a little bit more. Frying them like this in the frying pan won't cook them enough. We want to get them completely cooked and really tender. So once they've been sealed or seared in the frying pan, I'm going to transfer them to my air fryer. And 16 meatballs fix perfectly in my air fryer. They're going to go in there for about 15 minutes on 180 or 355 degrees Fahrenheit. And while they're cooking, I'm going to make my sauce. A bay leaf, some crushed garlic and some onion. And we're using the same frying pan with all those wonderful juices and all the leftover olive oil and fat from our meatballs. Once those ingredients are in, we want to cook them for about 8 minutes until they're just starting to turn brown. But we need to transfer them into another pan because the other pan's not big enough to accommodate all the tomatoes. I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and I'm going to give that a good mix. And I'm on a medium heat, by the way. In goes a couple of cans of good quality chopped tomatoes. I've probably washed the cans out with a couple of tablespoons of water too. Give that a stir and bring that to a boil. And then you want to add a good, generous handful of fresh basil. About 30 leaves I threw in. And all I'm going to do with this now, because this is a simple sauce, it's not a complicated sauce, I'm just going to bring that to a bubble, bring it to the boil, and once it's bubbling away, pop the lid on, and I'm going to leave it on a medium heat for about 10 to 15 minutes. And you'll see that we've lost a lot of the surplus liquid and it's become more concentrated in flavour. I'm just going to throw in some sugar, some salt and some pepper and give that a stir. And it really is a beautiful sauce. But we need to blitz it now. We need to make it smooth. So I need to transfer it to a high-sided saucepan. In with my stick blender, about 45 seconds. And a good way of noticing whether it's ready or not is whether the basil leaves have been completely blitzed into the sauce. I'm going to enrich it with a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And that is a beautiful sauce. And yes, you can strain this if you don't want it to be rustic like that. I want it to be quite coarse. So I've left it like that. And all I'm going to do now, because my meatballs are ready, I've transferred them to a lovely casserole dish. I'm just going to gently ladle my gorgeous, rich, simple tomato sauce over the meatballs. And the great thing about this dish, it doesn't need any more cooking. I don't think this has took me an hour to make. It really is a beautiful dish. A lot of recipes would ask you to pop this back in the oven. I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to do is sprinkle some lovely Parmesan or some Pecorino over the top. Plenty, as much as you want. You can use any cheese, but I like the Italian Parmesan or Pecorino. I use a mixture of the two actually. And now I'm just going to throw over the top a few basil leaves to make it look presentable. And that there is a wonderful dish of my meatballs with fennel. And there you have it. My beef and sausage meatballs with fennel, everybody. And as I sample the fruits of my labour, may I just mention that subscribing is a great way of supporting us. Even sharing with your friends. Leave me a comment. Tell me about any meatball recipes you may have. Give me your thoughts on this recipe. Smashing the like button helps us greatly with the algorithm. Thanks for watching. I'm going to finish this dish of food. I'll see you guys very soon.